So let me get this straight. Paul Feig, the bloke who turned Ghostbusters into a 2016 insufferable feminist lecture that lost a bloody fortune, is now out here openly campaigning to gender swap the iconic James Bond, and instead crowned Sydney Sweeney as the next 007.
You must be out of your goddamn mind!
Look, I'll be brutally honest right out of the gate. I'd be the first in line at the cinema, popcorn in one hand, pint in the other, happily sitting through 2.5 hours of Sydney Sweeney in a tight lady-tux, getting shaken not stirred all night and twice on a Sunday. Licence to kill? God, she could have my licence, my wallet and my Netflix password. I mean, the woman could read the ingredients on a bowl of cornflakes in a well-fitting dinner jacket and I'd still call it. But mate, come the fuck on now, let's at least be a little bit realistic. Hollywood has got to stop with these endless race and gender swaps and just let classic characters be themselves for once. Stick to the bloody source material, yo. Ian Fleming didn't write Bond as some blank slate for modern identity politics for which we can just project any old demographic we want onto. He's specifically a middle-aged white British bloke. He wrote a cold, ruthless, quintessentially British male spy who drinks like a fish, beds beautiful women and shoots bad guys without filling out a diversity form first. Yep, that's the entire fantasy. That's the character that built a multi-billion-pound franchise for 60 years. Yet here we are again in 2026, watching the same tired script play out. Every single legacy IP has to be reimagined until it's completely unrecognisable, and the original fans are called bigots just for noticing.
What the hell is even that?
Again, remember Ghostbusters 2016? All-female reboot with relentless male objectification, endless smug lectures about toxic masculinity and terribly cringe dance scenes for some reason, where it then crashed at the box office harder than my crypto portfolio. And worse, the fans themselves were then blamed for supposedly being misogynistic toxic incels and for not showing up to support it. Convenient, but one could very well ask where the heck was the female audience then? Not in cinemas, clearly. Remember the little race swap Mermaid with Halle Bailey? Massive online backlash against the blackwashing of gingers, not my Ariel meme everywhere, and the viewing numbers ultimately reflected it. Remember last year with the commie Snow Brown and with the Zeegs openly hating the original princess and calling it weird for a prince to dare bring her back to life with a traditional sweet kiss? Well, the trailers became memes before the film even dropped. And how about Indian Velma on HBO? Absolute disaster. Turned a beloved Scooby-Doo character into an unlikable preachy mess with extra poppadoms. Recall stunning and brave black April O'Neil from the new TMNT flick? Or how about everyone's favourite Rings of Boredom? Amazon spent $1 billion race swapping elves, dwarves and hobbits in Tolkien's world and still managed to alienate the entire fan base.
What, are you retarded?
Peeps, this isn't progress, this is just pure creative bankruptcy. And now having learned the square root of diddly squat from any of it, they're now quietly lining up the next victim. Yep, the X-Files reboot from Ryan Coogler.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
The two classic white leads, Fox Mulder and Dana Scully, have now been replaced with an entirely new ethnic duo, with Danielle Deadwyler and Himesh Patel stepping in as the fresh FBI agents investigating the unexplained. Not even a recast, but a straight-up swap-out.
This isn't going to end well.
The iconic 90s paranormal show that defined a generation, quietly erased and repainted to fit the current year checklist. I mean, how the bloody hell do these people keep framing The Great Replacement as some kind of tinfoil hat conspiracy theory when white natives are demonstrably being replaced in actual statistical demographics, in politics and HR boardrooms, and now even in the legacy pop culture that shaped entire generations for frig's sake?
What a fucking liberty.
Alas, this is the pop culture war in full swing, folks. Entertainment used to be about escapism. You switched on the telly or went to the cinema to forget the real world for a couple of hours to watch larger-than-life heroes do impossible things. But now, it's all preachy lectures and weaponised cringe. And don't even get me started on how they bloody massacred Dr. Friggin' Who. Nowadays, every reboot, remake and legacy character has to tick arbitrary boxes instead of just telling a good story. Merits doesn't matter. Faithfulness to the source doesn't matter. Only the right tick boxes matter.
Fact check.
That's true.
And well, as we all know, the audience is noticing. They're voting with their wallets. Box office after box office, streaming numbers tanking, endless think pieces about why audiences are tired. Meanwhile, the studios double down, call the fans racist, sexist, all sorts of is-phobes and isms, and then wonder why nobody bloody shows up.
First season of Star Trek.
Every episode views total, is what you mean?
Not individual episodes, the entire season,
Yeah.
total views. About 400,000.
Yeah.
Not per episode.
Yeah.
Cumulatively,
Yeah.
The entire season.
Yeah.
About 400,000 views.
Yeah. Whatever.
Which is an average of, I don't know, maybe 40,000 views an episode.
God damn.
We're watching the slow erosion of Western cultural icons. Characters that represented a certain ideal, masculinity, femininity, Britishness, whatever, are simply being hollowed out and filled with the politics of the day. They can't create new heroes people actually care about, so they just go and steal the old ones, give them a chocolatey repaint, and then put a surprise Pikachu face when all the magic suddenly disappears.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, whilst most might assume that Paul Feig might have just been gently teasing about the whole idea of Bond-Sydney Bond, given how nutty Hollywood is these days, in accordance with their disastrous track record that they're seemingly still doubling down on to this day, I wouldn't actually give him the benefit of the doubt on this one, because the utter madman might just go and bloody do it.
Do it.
But anyway, keep pushing your nonsense agenda, Hollywood. Keep pretending that turning James Bond into a girl boss is the bold, fresh direction that cinema needs. I mean, I might still buy the ticket on this occasion, solely for Sydney getting thrown around and bedding every woman she sees, and purely for research purposes, of course. But the rest of you can keep wondering why your reboots keep dying at the box office, whilst the old classics get endlessly rewatched on repeat.